Has this ever happened to you? You walk into a senior meeting, you have done the work, you believe in your position, you say it clearly, and then someone pushes back. A director, a VP, someone with more authority than you. And in that moment, something happens inside you. A flicker, a doubt. And before you even realize it, you are already softening your position, already adding qualifiers, already saying, you're right, I just thought maybe. And just like that, the ground you were standing on disappears. This happens to some of the most capable mid-level managers I have ever seen. Not because they were wrong, not because the pushback was valid, but because nobody ever taught them what to do in that moment. Nobody taught them that disagreement in a senior room is not a verdict on your thinking. It is a test of your conviction. And how you respond to that test determines everything about how you are seen going forward. Here is the uncomfortable truth. When you have to push back, you do not actually agree with, you do not come across as collaborative. You do not come across as humble, who cannot be trusted with a position. Because if you drop your point, the moment someone challenges the room, it quietly wonders, did they ever really believe it in the first place? Senior leaders are not looking for people who agree with them. They're looking for people who can stand behind their thinking under pressure. That is the person they promote. That is the person they call the situation is hard. So what do the professionals who are taken seriously actually do when pushback lands? It starts with something most people never think to practice. They acknowledge without conceding. The moment pushback arrives, most managers make one of two mistakes. They either get defensive, which closes the conversation, or they immediately agree, which ends their credibility. There is a third option, and it is far more powerful. You receive the challenge without surrendering your position. I hear that. That is a fair challenge. I understand why that reads differently from where you sit. You are not agreeing. You are not arguing. You are showing the room that you can absorb pressure without flinching. That alone signals something senior leaders are actively looking for. You hold your ground. The next thing they do is go back to their evidence, not their emotion. When someone pushes back, the temptation is to respond to the feeling of being challenged. Your words speed up. You start explaining more instead of standing firmer. Stop, take a breath, and return to the single strongest piece of evidence that built your position in the first place. What I keep coming back to is this: that data drives my thinking here is simple. One anchor, stated calmly. Repeat it if necessary. You are not fighting the room. You are not returning to the ground you already built. That is not stubbornness. That is what leadership actually looks like under pressure. And then this is the move that separates them most. They learn to tell the difference between real and new information and pure pressure. Not all pushback is equal. Sometimes a senior leader challenges you and they're giving you something genuinely new, a constraint you are not aware of, a perspective that changes the picture. When that happens, update your position. Do it openly and without hesitation. That changes things. I want to factor that in. That is not weakness. That is exactly what sharp thinking looks like in real time. But when the pushback is simply pressure, when it's disagreement without new information, when seniority is being used as a substitute for logic, you do not move. You stay calm, you stay respectful, and you stay exactly where you are. The room is always watching to see which one you choose. I want to say this directly to every manager watching this who has a habit of backing down. You are not backing down because you are weak. You are backing down because you were never shown that holding your position is allowed. That disagreeing with someone more senior than you is not a career-defining moment. That leaders who rise up to the top are the ones that face resistance positively. They're the ones who face resistance and do not disappear. Your thinking deserves to stay in the room. So tell me in the comments, what do you think about that moment when you froze? Do you think your position was right? And what stopped you? Was it the seniority of the person? Was it the hierarchy? Or was it what's at stake for me if I have to disagree? And let's see if we can cover more in our next video.